handle it already. That's in case I'm going to get to be one. That's their biggest fear.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Art Lucy, and I'm calling today's meeting to order at 1:01 p.m. So June 27th, 2025. Thank you all for attending in person and online. And we're welcoming board members, new board members, specifically Gigi Luizzo, hope I got that close, and Assemblyman Billy Jones. Thank you for being with us today and joining our board. I'd also like to add a special thank you to Cliff Donaldson, who's had a tremendous tenure on this board. He's made it through a number of chairpersons, as well as governors. And he was phenomenal on teaching me Robert's Rules of Order. He was really good at that. And he was also very detailed in his analysis of facts and figures, namely the audit committee. And that's why he was a key member of that committee for many years. Also, to the public viewing, thank you for attending and joining us today. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. A link to the video and transcription will be posted on the Olympic Authority website following this meeting. As we start with today's items, I'll remind board members to please speak as clearly as possible and to identify yourselves each time you speak or make a motion so those who are online have an idea who's speaking and making the motion. So I hope all of you got our fairly lengthy board packet. It was only about 254 pages. The heck of an introduction to two new board members.
I read it all.
But the good news is there was a lot of information that was probably very valuable in helping you understand the goings-on of this organization. So, Renee, could we have a roll call to see if we have a quorum present?
Joe Martens, Bill Beanie, Jen Holderried.
Here.
Steve Hunt.
Here.
Betty Little.
Here.
Art Lucy.
Here.
Diane Monroe.
Here.
Chris Pushkarsh.
Here.
Joe Zalewski.
Here.
Eleanor Tatum. Billy Jones.
Here.
And Gigi Luizzo.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. So our first item for committee action on the agenda is an approval of the meeting minutes from May. And may I have a motion for our meeting minutes, approving the minutes from May 9th, 2025.
Motion to approve, Joe Zalewski.
Okay,
Steve Hunt, second.
thank you. Any discussion, corrections, deletions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? I think we might, I guess you could have two abstentions with Bill.
Yeah, since I wasn't there.
Perfect, thank you.
Same here.
Okay, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the Governance Committee report. And with that, I'll introduce Chris Pushkarsh. And please provide your report.
Certainly. Thank you, Art, and welcome to the new board members. The Governance Committee met on June 11th to review the annual resolution for the designation of the Olympic Authority's policymakers for 2025-2026. Also to review the annual resolution regarding certain Olympic Authority policies and to undertake an annual review of the Authority's mission statement and performance measures. Resolution 556 identifies the designated policymakers for the Olympic Authority as is required by the Public Officers Law and requests board approval for staff to amend that list that must be submitted to the New York State Commission on Ethics and Lobbying in Government if that should become necessary prior to June 2026, when the Governance Committee and board will review that list again. Resolution 557 identifies certain policies that must be reviewed and approved by the board each year and posted on the Olympic Authority's website. Resolution 558 involves the required annual review by the board of the Olympic Authority's mission statement and performance measurements. The committee recommended that the board approve resolution numbers 556, 557, and 558, with the approval of resolution 557 being subject to the report of the executive committee on the investment policy that is also encompassed in that resolution. Finally, during an executive session, the committee reviewed and discussed the 2025 confidential board evaluation, as well as the confidential summary of that the committee is required to compile and submit to the designated oversight entities described in the Public Authorities Law, which I did do with the committee's approval and Renee's help on June 18, 2025. And with that, my report is completed.
Thank you, Chris. Should we vote on these now or we don't have to? Great. All right, so the next item on our agenda is the Audit Committee report, and the only member of the Audit Committee able to attend today's meeting, Joe, was unable to attend the last Audit Committee meeting, so I'll provide the report. I'd like to note that the Olympic Authority's independent auditor, EFPR Group, made a presentation to the Audit Committee about their report, and that David Greck from EFPR is joining us remotely today. And if any board member has any additional information after I give my report, please inquire from David if you have further questions. And thank you, David. He's on, he's just remote. We don't see him, but he's there. So overall, the audit went very well. The auditors did not identify any material weaknesses in internal controls. There were no instances of non-compliance to report that were material to the financial statements, and the auditors found the Olympic Authority's books and records to be maintained in a clear and orderly fashion. As a result, the Audit Committee voted to recommend that the board approved Resolution 559 approving the independent auditor's report. Are there any questions or comments on the Audit Committee report?
I like boring audit reports.
Right? Thank you, Diane.
It was.
So with that, move on to the next item on the agenda is the Executive Committee report, which I'll be glad to provide. The Executive Committee met on June 11th to discuss the Olympic Authority's investment policy, including the investment report, and to review the Olympic Authority's 2024-2025 annual report. Accordingly, the committee recommends that the board approve Resolution 560 to approve the Olympic Authority's 2024-2025 annual report. Thank you to all the staff who worked on putting this together. Extremely well done, and thank you for bearing with our minuscule changes at our last meeting. As part of Resolution 557, the Executive Committee reviewed the Olympic Authority's annual investment policy and report, and the Executive Committee recommends that the board approve Resolution 557 insofar as it authorizes the submission of the investment report, which includes the Olympic Authority's investment policy in accordance with the requirements of the Public Authorities Law. Are there any questions or comments on the Executive Committee report? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's the President's report. Sick of hearing from me. Now you get to hear from the true leader of the organization. Ashley, please give your report to the board. ready for 4th of July, right?
Yeah. The sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm. Gremlins are cruising around.
Gotta do something every time. All right. Let's do. Close.
Just move down the side. Go down the side. I don't know if they can see it. I don't know if the people online can see it. Oh, no, but when that flash up in the big, it would become part of the big one. Yeah.
Go with this.
I'll go to two.
And she's supposed to be talking.
So,
Can it not be seen by anybody online? Mike, can they see it online though?
Oh, it's pretty. Yeah, it looks normal.
Okay.
I can
Am
see it.
You can see it? Okay. Am I gonna be able to flip through?
there it is.
Perhaps. Just give me a nod.
Perfect.
Okay. I think I might be able to. I want to start here though. No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks, Art and the board. Appreciate it. Last time that we had a president's report, even though we had a short meeting in May, was actually back in March at our last board meeting. So we're going to begin with a recap since March. So since our last report in March, we're going to go back in time here to winter. We closed the mountains, each of the mountains, Bel Air and Gore, both closed on April 13th, and Whiteface closed on April 20th. They were able to hold on until the Easter holiday. We really had an incredible season across all three of the mountains. We had a year of record sales numbers and a number of just positive feedback and experiences by our guests. So thank you to all of our mountain teams as they put on an outstanding winter season. You're gonna have to do it, Mike.
Okay. Sure.
We launched our season pass sales early this year, and we introduced a new early pass deadline of April 30th. Historically, the first pass deadline would have been in August. We started with a new launch this year, again, with the first deadline closing on April 30th. Within that time, we saw over 18,000 passes sold, and now we're working with our marketing teams on the next pass deadline, which will be on August 4th. The marketing and sales teams have really started to do a collaborative effort across all of our business opportunities. So they've been taking a look at our corporate sales, our group sales, and also our guest offerings. We've seen that We've seen a lot of growth within our conference sales. Part of this is attributed to getting our teams on the road. We're sending them to conferences where they can start to attract additional businesses for our conference season. So this has been a good effort. They're working very closely with our marketing teams on doing so that we're marketing the conference center, working with our local businesses to ensure that we're trying to fill shoulder seasons and times that are crucial here for our towns and the regions. We also have been doing a lot of community work and also here within New York State. So our marketing and sales team was at Adirondack Day in Albany this past spring. We've also been working on revamping our passport program. So the passport program has been around for a while, and what we've tried to do is really add additional offerings, especially for the experiences like the coaster and the zip line that we offer. The idea behind the passport is to get people to come to the venues for something that they might have seen online or that they're attracted to, and then promote the other venues and the other offerings all in one affordable package. Additionally, we've been putting more experiences online so that our guests are able to fully have unique experiences that they couldn't get anywhere else. So you'll see curling is a big hit, and this is a big hit not only with our day travelers or visitors or overnight guests, but it's also with our corporate groups and with our school groups. So this month we have really shifted over to summer operations with all of the venues. So we're in full swing. And we've really looked at continuing to expand our year-round opportunities. Mount Van Hovenberg, which is undergoing construction and is limiting some of the other operations, such as the coaster, has started to implement additional activities. You see, we started a Thursday night hustle, as they call it, and it's an opportunity for the community to come out to Van Hovenberg. You can run. We have mountain bikes. We're encouraging not only ORDA employees, but the community to come out, be active, and experience what's right in their back door. We've also expanded on our Discover programs. So we have a Discover Biathlon and a Discover Luge program. So it gives our guests the opportunity to really experience the sports firsthand. They get to actually shoot a biathlon rifle at the target. You can see here, they get to try a luge sled on wheels. This year, we've also partnered with USA Luge. So we have luge athletes that are running and assisting our staff with the Discover Luge program. We're going to begin to incorporate that across all of the offerings. So our guests that come here, not only do they get to experience the sport, but they get to meet the athletes firsthand and have a really unique experience that they can't have anywhere else. Additionally, the highway started a new program today where they will be offering a shuttle. Historically, you are only able to access the highway either by biking, running, or driving your own personal vehicle. So we started a shuttle service today, and it has opportunities to expand into a guided tour.
What does that mean, shuttle service? Like, do you go drive to the castle and then get a ride? Or?
No, you park at Whiteface Mountain. Okay. So we're trying to utilize the parking and the facilities that we have at Whiteface. So you park at Whiteface, get on a shuttle. You are shuttled to the top. Right now the program is set up so you have 2 hours and 15 minutes to experience the drive up.
Great.
You could hike up to the top, back down, and then you'd have shuttle service back.
Wow.
So we want to expand it into a guided tour. A couple of things. From a sustainability standpoint, we'd like to minimize the amount of cars driving up and down. So this is one way to do so. It is a very popular attraction. So we also have a lot of issues with traffic. There's limited parking at the top. And on very busy weekends, the toll booth gets backed up quite a while. So we're trying to find ways to minimize that and still offer a good experience.
So if you ride the gondola, like you buy a gondola ticket and you get off at the top, could you hike from there to the top and take the shuttle down?
I'm not sure, but I kind of feel like that's cheating. But
hiking up is okay. Hiking down is the hard.
Sure,
Right.
Both of them are hard, but
Yeah.
and lastly, I should mention you can stay on this one, Mike, but I did just want to mention that the Bel Air Beach opens this weekend as well. It would have historically opened the weekend prior, but we had a major music festival here, Mountain Jam, that we hosted last weekend at Bel Air. This was the first time it's ever been at Bel Air Mountain. It was previously at Hunter Mountain and has taken a hiatus since 2019 due to COVID, and this is the first year it's returning. It was a 3-day music festival that featured over 16 musical acts, and we welcomed over 11,000 guests to Bel Air.
That's awesome.
Incredible, and these photos don't really do it justice, but I'd just like to give a huge shout out to the entire Bel Air team because this was a big undertaking, a lot of unknowns, and if you've seen any of the reviews, very, very successful. Everybody in the community and all of the guests that went really, really enjoyed it. So we'll see if we can bring it back next year.
Great.
As evidenced by, normally I get nothing but complaints, and I've gotten flooded with emails and calls about how great it was. And Ashley, thank you for speaking to that team. That team is amazing. They worked really hard.
They did, and they did a lot of event production things that was just very impressive, and again led to a hugely successful event.
And if I may add compliments to that, I had guests at the lodge here, and they said even the troubles that were slightly happening the first day, they seemed to have resolved most of them by the second day. So there was some quick learning by the staff. So good for them.
Yeah,
Great.
This team was the regular Bel Air staff. That's wonderful.
it was in conjunction with a production company, but a lot of the responsibilities they were divided up, and there was significant responsibilities on our team that worked throughout the weekend.
Yeah, these 3-day music festivals seem to be very popular. I mean, I have grandchildren all over the country that attend them. So,
All right. Our sports and events team has been working on a number of upcoming events and also sport opportunities. We've really made a strategic effort to begin attending congresses of the winter sports that we either host an event or we offer programming for. These meetings are the governing bodies for the sports. They help shape the future of the sports. And it's very important that as operators and event hosts, that we have a seat at the table. So we are doing that by attending these events. Last week, I was in Finland with Rebecca, and we attended the International Luge Federation Congress, and we were able to secure the 2029 World Championships.
Wow.
So that was another great attendance at a Congress. So not only is it about shaping the futures, but it's ensuring that we stay on the sport calendars for the future. In addition, the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Congress, we are hosting the 2026 Cross Country World Cup Finals here in Lake Placid. So we gave a presentation. These congresses require that the upcoming host organizers have a presentation on their planning and their progress. So we delivered that report. Additionally, the International Ski Federation Congress, we presented on upcoming World Cups and also investigated some future opportunities. We are also shifting over to our major events calendar. The first of our major events will be the UCI mountain bike event, which is in October. So the first weekend of October, October 3rd to the 5th. This year we are expanding just from Lake Placid over to Wilmington with the inclusion of the downhill event. So last year we only hosted the cross-country event at Van Hovenberg. This year we were able to tie in Wilmington, Whiteface, and the downhill event. So it will be a packed weekend of events, but very exciting, and we hope we have as nice weather this year as we did last year. Alongside our event planning, our teams are, in the thick of it from construction across all of the venues. So right here we have the North Creek Ski Bowl. This is a 2-year project. This is the second year of the project and heading towards the completion. This is progressing nicely. It's been a very well-delivered project. This past winter, we opened the first phase of that project, which was the new Hudson Chair. And it really has just changed the skiing experience at Gore. It has really opened up the mountain. It's helped to tie in the downtown of North Creek, which is really a main driver for this project. But as you can see, the lodge is entering its final stages. They're working on the interior, on finishing touches, and slated to be open for the beginning of the ski season. Go ahead to the next slide, Mike. So you can see here, this is the inside of the Ski Bowl Lodge looking out towards the mountain. This is going to be an awesome place to return to after skiing, base your day out of. There's mountain biking trails throughout here. So from a summer standpoint, just a great opportunity to get more people to come to the area. Again, connect them to the main street in North Creek, and also add additional space and services for our skiers in the winter.
So will this also serve the cross-country portion, or is it just the alpine portion?
Oh, so the cross-country trails the Nordic trails are right there.
Yeah.
We host a lot of high school, and regional events from cross-country. This will give additional space. The Joe Minder Lodge, which is right at the base of the cross-country trails, services a lot of the ski rentals for the Nordic Center, but this will
It's
expand.
pretty
small,
compact.
yeah. And my understanding is that it's more for the athletes during those events, but
Yeah.
now family.
Place for families.
Yes.
It's great,
It expands over.
So-
Yeah.
especially on those freezing days. They can
Mhm.
have a place to go.
Absolutely. Bel Air Lodges, this is the second year of this project. It's beginning to pick up pace again. You'll see here that the roof structures are coming into place. This was a major hurdle that we had to overcome. It is now allowing all of the major primes to get back in and get working on their responsibilities for the project. Again, all with the target of opening for the ski season. So this is the Discovery Lodge that we're looking at here. The kitchen's complete, and this is a part of the addition renovation that you're looking at.
Is that indoor or outdoor?
That's indoor. The roof panels aren't on yet. Those
Okay.
are the beams that carry the roof panels.
Okay.
They may have even started to go up today.
And a lot of glass for outside views.
There is some glass on the backside. This is additional space to help service
Okay.
the kitchen and the cafeteria area. And on the bottom floor, all of the ski rentals were in a temporary building, have been for years. The bottom level will be all ski rentals. So now we're pulling that into the expansion of the building.
Okay, that's nice.
Mount Van Hovenberg began back in April, a major construction project. The start was on the refrigeration plant, which is underway. And what we're looking at here are the pilings for the supports for the roof structures. So there will be new roof structures that have integrated lighting and timing, and add additional coverage from the elements that'll help run the venue more efficiently. On the right-hand side, the photo that you see, this is site work that's going on the interior of the track. It's a space known as the heart because the curved shape to form a heart. Some of the footings that you see there are actually, we've discovered some of the footings from the 1980 track. So they've got their work cut out for them, but they're progressing nicely. That'll be a cleaned up spectator space, which if you've been to an event, it's limited. It's hard to really experience it. So this whole project will really pull all the spectators together and give them a viewing platform. Some of our PR highlights. We've seen a ton of exposure. Our PR and communications team has done a lot of outreach. These teams cover not only the media that you see here, social media, the websites, all the online content. They also, during events, they'll work with the media that comes here to observe and report on the events. We also get a number of inquiries from local, national, and we've seen quite a bit of, especially on this one, international media. So they're responding, they're working with the media on covering the stories, talking about what we do here at the Olympic Authority. And we've just seen a huge increase in the amount of coverage that we've got. I think there's a second slide on it too. And a lot of these will highlight events is a big feature, but all of our mountains were featured in different articles and reports. We talking about the affordability of them, you know, some of the offerings that they have, and really highlighting not the mountains, but the events, the sports, and the other activities that we have. And this next one, while Mike is queuing it up, we really wanted to bring the annual report alive. I know it's a nice document. There's a good narrative in there, but we wanted to bring it alive and feature it in a video. So hopefully we can show it.
Are they print yet?
We can wait for it to be.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That's good.
Oh, that's great.
Good job.
Back over to you.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments on the president's report?
Of course.
Okay. Diane?
Where are we with the Overlook Lodge? You didn't mention that one.
The Overlook Lodge, so it's also seen a couple of delays. There was some abatement that needed to happen. That is complete, and the work to restore it and finish the renovation is back on schedule.
Okay.
I should say it's begun again.
Okay. Are we optimistic, cautiously optimistic, or very nervous about the timing of the opening?
Cautiously optimistic.
That category, thank you.
Ready?
Yes, in regard to North Creek and the snow at the Ski Bowl Lodge, will we have water there when we open in October?
Yes,
November?
cautiously optimistic.
I was hoping that was the word, not nervous.
No.
but,
We have
it's
been working closely with the town. They have really progressed in the past 2 months on the project. There are two 6,000 holding tanks that are in place currently at the Ski Bowl Lodge
that they put in.
that they put in.
Wow.
So that the full plant is scheduled to be done in December, but we have other options for opening earlier now that those tanks are in place.
Yeah. Hopefully, we don't have to truck.
Correct. That's the
November. Just that, I think that we're going to get a huge, influx of people coming to that because it's so convenient. And even last year, because the quad was there, I went up and it probably 4 times more cars than had been there the winter before.
Yeah.
So people are really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So,
and once they find out about the quad and the lodge and everything that's there, it's going to expand quickly.
It's kind of like White-Faced Bear Den, where everybody discovered that that's a really good place to work out now. We're planning on hitting that lodge to start next year when we hit Gore. So,
And
looking forward to
remember,
it.
it will be year round, really. So the summer attraction is set to open about a year from now, so summer of 2026. So really taking it from a lodge, a ski lodge, and expanding it to a year-round opportunity.
All the projects that you mentioned, are they going to be complete for this ski season or this winter season, I should say?
So the North Creek, and I should have corrected myself earlier. With the Ski Bowl Lodge, I called it a 2-year project.
Yeah.
Really should have called it a 3-year project because the summer attraction will be complete this time next year. Mount Van Hovenberg will be, it's a phased project, so portions of it will be complete. Then with the operating season, we'll have to slow things down and then bring that back up. So that'll be a multi-year project.
That's the project, the 90 for the cooling, for the system,
Buildings.
everything. So that's next season then?
It's ongoing now. The
Yeah.
refrigeration system and the roof structures will be in place. There are buildings and other infrastructure that will be phased in through the next construction season.
Okay.
And Bel Air, we hope to be wrapped up with this year. That should have been a 1-year project turned into a 2-year project.
So you're doing the refrigeration system and the old one's still in place, so you don't, there's no disruption in, right?
Yeah. So we have a bit of a safety net there. We're getting the new refrigeration plant built.
Yeah.
The existing one is still in place. The chillers that are associated with the refrigeration plant will support both. Those aren't being duplicated because they're in fine condition. But we wanted to ensure that everything progressed on time before we completely removed a working system.
Good idea.
and it's usable this winter.
I think Billy's also concerned for our Olympic athletes.
Yes.
Making sure that they can train and,
Both of us are.
yeah.
And what about the progress being made with the training center? Is that
Yeah, and the training center, so that project is so a reminder, it's a kitchen renovation and expansion of the dining area, which hasn't been touched since the building was built. As would probably be expected, once we opened up the flooring and the draining system, we found that all of the pipes were rotted out, some were cracked. So it's delayed. I think they're on an 8-week delay right now, but that will be complete before the winter season to support the athletes.
Okay. And didn't we expand some of the capacity there in the last few years too?
Not yet. There's a larger project that had been proposed. This is one phase
This
of
is
that.
one
We'll
phase,
do
not
one
an
piece at a time.
expansion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does expand the dining space, and it also makes it more accessible. It is the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center. The way that it was designed, it was not with that use for Paralympic athletes in mind. So they've done a lot of work to accommodate it, but this will really make it accessible.
I can comment that I've talked to a number of athletes that have been training here in the last 3 weeks, and even though they're using a temporary kitchen, the food has been excellent and they're very complimentary of the products. You know, I was a little worried, you know, when you see trailers in the backyard, you're wondering how the heck are they going to be able to prepare, you know, really healthy world-class food for these athletes, and they've been very thankful.
Yeah, and it's been a good working relationship with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee. You know, they've just been very good to work with. They've had to do a lot of accommodations there, but overall, it's going to be tremendous once it's done. So maybe we can host the next board meeting there.
Great.
And we should have a lot of athletes there this winter, and they want
Yes.
to be able to do that. That's good.
There's a lot of training here now too.
Good.
I have one question that goes back to more the financial thing, and I noticed in the audit report that we had a tremendous cost savings in the fuel and I don't know, propane and electricity bill. Like it was down $1 million. And of course, I asked our financial leader, and he was proud to say a lot of that was in electricity savings at Gore from the solar farm. That, and it's like, that's a tremendous savings. I mean, that was a staggering number for me to see.
Yeah.
In this day of rising costs everywhere, to see,
Especially electricity.
to see that,
Yeah,
that was incredible.
take a lesson from my constituents that have called me all winter on that.
That solar farm is actually 2 solar farms. They were so large, they had to be done separately.
Oh,
I mean, they're across the road from each other, but it's enormous. It's a big,
So does that feed right into the grid?
it's miles away.
It's got to feed into the grid, but
Yeah.
We purchase.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's in a
I'm
different
actually
county.
going to ask Mike to give us some information on this because he tracks. So we work with a company that tracks the usage. We set goals for each month on the amount of energy that it will collect. But Mike, you want to speak a little bit to how it actually ties into it?
So there's a budget that we've set up many years ago on how much energy is going to be created, anticipated. And we tend to follow that pretty closely. But what it does is the energy is created, fed back into the grid through, I don't exactly remember what power company it is right now, but they issue us credits. So every kilowatt we
I think it's National Grid.
is a kilowatt that we get to utilize in the winter. So I believe it's upwards of 80% of our steam making is solar.
And the actual farms are in Washington County,
Yeah, they're out in the
and Vermont and Warren counties. I mean, they're not near each other, but it's a great project, and it started, I was in office, that was a long time ago.
2015.
Yeah, well, that's about right, because it's my 5th year in retirement.
Any other questions on the president's report? Okay. There's no new business on our agenda, so there's no old business on our agenda. So we'll move on to the new business, and there are 9 proposed resolutions on the agenda. So I'll begin with asking for a motion to adopt Resolution 561. This is a resolution appointing a contracting officer for the purpose of property disposition. And we'll
Move that.
start with a motion from Diane,
I'll second that motion, Betty.
by Betty. And does anyone have any questions? Maybe not? Great.
It's pretty clear.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay.
Yep.
Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 556? This resolution approves policymakers for 2025-2026. Jen is making the motion, and is there a second?
I'll second that motion, Betty.
Second by Betty. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 557? This is a resolution adopting certain policies and procedures. And with that,
I'll make that motion, Diane.
Diane, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that. We just don't want to be called the ORDA anymore. That's so much easier.
Thank you. Any discussion? Information was included in your governance and executive committee reports. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 558? This resolution reviews our mission statement and our performance measurements.
So move, Steve Hunt.
Steve, thank you, Steve.
I'll second that,
Second,
Diane.
Okay, any discussion?
I'm just, that we made no changes to either. Correct, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. Says I remember it.
I had been asked that.
And I've got just a couple of points on this. So the board updated and approved this mission statement in February of 2022 through a very thoughtful process that has created this current statement. As an organization, we use this on a daily basis. We often reference it in our operations and when we're making decisions. It has really become a guiding principle for us at the organization. Last spring, we created the criteria used to evaluate the performance on delivering the mission. And so this year, we reviewed those deliverables and the governance committee.
Great. Thank you. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 559? This resolution approves the independent auditor's report. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Betty. Is there a second?
Steve Hunt.
Steve Hunt, thank you, Steve. And Ashley has a comment.
A couple of points here. Just I'd like to highlight again, thank you to the finance team. This audit had no management letter items in it. We're thankful for the auditors for their work. They do quite a bit of work with our team remotely, and they also spend 3 days in person in the office, which is, for us, it's great because we get to know them a little bit more. They get to understand our operation. And so when they're looking at other items within the audit, from, reducing the risk exposure, ways that we can increase efficiency and ensuring compliance with our regulatory requirements, they really have an understanding for who we are, what we do, and how we operate. So those on-site work is very important. And I just want to highlight that moving forward, this was the last year of our current contract. So the audit committee will be looking at selecting a firm. Right now, we'll be putting together an RFP. We are anticipating that all responses will be due in August. we're hoping to make a final selection. This is the responsibility of the audit committee to review the proposals and make a recommendation to the board. And we're hoping that that will be complete so we could do so at the September board meeting.
Right.
Is it a requirement to change auditors?
No, the same audit firm can.
You can.
They can apply. They have to change their principal lead. So if the same company was awarded the bid, the same person that has led our audit reports from EFPR would have to change. They'd have to change principals.
That makes sense. That's good. Thank you.
I would just take the time to say, with the audit committee being a little depleted, I'm gonna say, Jen, your freshmanship is over, and we're probably gonna put you on that committee.
Yeah, we need a chair, so.
There we go. Normally we do that when the board member's not present, but since you're here, beware. So, if there are any further questions, with that, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 560? This resolution approving Olympic Regional Development Authority's annual report.
I'll make a motion.
For that, motion made by Jen,
I'll second it.
second by Billy. And Ashley, you have any notes on this one?
I just want to thank the team for putting together another great annual report. It really does highlight all the work that goes on throughout the year. By the time we get to actually pulling it together, we've forgotten about some of the great things we've done in the previous year. So
The video was pretty great too.
and it was a great way to highlight it and bring it alive. So
Yes.
Well, and I just have to say too, it's a great resource as a board member, you know, so I think, I think that it really just nicely summarizes, because even in like class, I feel like I have a decent handle on what goes on, but you realize how many things that you don't pay attention to. So I think it's a really excellent summary and it's really well done.
Is there any way we could highlight it or have some attention banner or something when somebody goes to our website to make sure they get a chance to look at this? Because we don't print it as much as I would love to see it handed out more. But some way of
That's a good idea.
signaling.
Because it's actually pretty digestible as annual reports go.
It's easy
And
reading.
frankly, I agree with Jen. I use it to pick up talking points when people have questions. And
Well done.
that's a great idea, Betty.
we definitely can.
Good idea. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 562? Resolution committing capital and granting approval for the president and CEO to enter into an agreement for the purchase of a cable skidder for Gore Mountain.
I'll make that motion.
Betty?
Betty.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Diane, thank you. And I'm delighted to hear about what this is.
Listen, not everything that we do is flashy. This, but it's necessary.
It's a cable for the skidder?
I've learned a lot about what a cable skidder is.
I actually know what it does. I didn't know would have to approve that.
So the
Must be expensive.
the picture that you're seeing here in the bottom left-hand corner, that is the current cable skidder that Gore purchased in 2010. It was used at the time. It is a 1998 model. It gets used a lot. A lot of the groundwork and things that happen during the summertime to prepare the mountains. This is a valuable piece of equipment, particularly for Gore. So the new equipment, it meets EPA standards. Parts are readily available. One of the problems that we were running into with the current machine is that the parts are no longer readily available, making maintenance and repairs difficult. It has some advanced features. So there's technology now that can monitor the performance of the machine so we can get ahead of maintenance. It also has a variable transmission, which means there's no shifting. So it expands the number of staff that can use it. And it also makes it easier for them to use. And I think most importantly, it cuts down on soil compaction when it's being used and operated, which is minimizing our environmental impacts while we're operating it. So kind of a neat piece of machinery that is used very heavily by the Gore staff.
So maybe Billy could help us here.
Yeah.
I know what, I know,
You know,
I knew what it did. I know what a skidder is.
What does-
But like, what's the difference between a cable skidder and a regular log
I've seen
that has like the big grapple on the
Well,
back?
that's what I know.
That's me too.
Because I'd imagine
This
this,
just pulls cable, or does it pull snowmaking pipe, or we don't know?
It goes down a steep mountain. They need to be on a cable.
Okay. So multi-purpose skidder.
Correct.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, that cable part threw me off. Great. Well, thank you for our updated and continuing education on skidders. All those.
it was just the cable for the skidder.
Well, I was thinking too, because when we do really steep trails at the mountains at Whiteface, on some of our, like our downhill trail, they
You
have
need
to
the
use a cable.
Yeah.
Need a
Winch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's in another
And
one.
Even Gore has them
Gore
steep
has them
trails.
on the
Yeah.
top
We need them
part,
too.
so-
Yeah.
So, all right.
Wouldn't want to have that roll down the hill.
Back to business. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 563, resolution committing capital and granting approval for the president and CEO to enter into an agreement for the purchase of snow grooming equipment.
I happily make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Is there a second?
I'll second it and hope there's
Second.
lots of snow.
Betty, great. And Ashley, do you want to fill us in on,
Sure.
this is a pretty bulky order from what I reviewed.
Yep, so 4 separate machines that are being purchased to support the ongoing fleets that we have across the mountains. We have a varying vintage of machines, and we have a good maintenance plan and program in place so that we are maintaining the fleet that we currently have and turning over machines when it is time to do so. We, evaluate before we purchase new machinery, the number of hours on a machine, the locations of the machine, the terrain that they're grooming and operating on. And we're diligent on trying to do so. Sometimes we move machines from one venue to another as applicable to maximize the usage before purchasing machinery.
Great. My pretty good understanding is these can run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct,
Like
depending
250,000 is ballpark figure.
depending on the size of the machine. There's different sizes and whether they are you had mentioned the cable earlier, whether they're a winch cat
yeah.
or a winch ready cat, it impacts the price. But yes, they're north of 250.
Yeah.
When I was reading this, I thought to myself, I think it's worth saying that I'm grateful for the institution of a systemic way or a systematic way of evaluating this before these machines get so old that they become unreliable, that they become unsafe, that we can't get the parts. There comes a point in time that bubble gum only goes so far. And I really appreciate knowing that we're kind of staying ahead of that a little bit. Because when your groomer goes down, you run into increased access issues for trails, you run into increased safety issues. And I just feel like this is something you guys have gotten your arms around really well. And I just wanted to note that because I think it's important.
Thanks, Diane. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 564? Resolution committing capital and granting approval for the president and CEO to enter into an agreement for the purchase of snowmaking equipment. Any motion?
I'm happy to make that motion.
Okay, Diane. Is there a second?
I'll second, Betty.
Second, Betty, thank you. And Ashley,
So the,
update?
yeah, the resolution covers all three mountains, and additionally, a little bit of inventory for Van Hovenberg and for the ski jumps. A total of 45 production nozzles. It's over 17,000 feet of snowmaking hose and 156 high-performance snow guns. So similar to the groomers, we have a revolving investment in improving the snowmaking systems to utilize high efficiency where possible. And so we're continually updating and improving that, as we see variable climates and changes in climate. This ensures that we can open on time or early and sustain throughout the winter season.
Great. And I think that's what I'm seeing is as our fleet improves, we're getting more and more of the high efficiency guns so that we're weaning
better
out some of the
product,
less efficient equipment.
And in some cases too, we're updating the infrastructure on the mountains that's necessary to support the high efficiency guns. It's not the case everywhere on all of the mountains at the moment that we can utilize it. So as we continually improve the infrastructure, then we're implementing the high efficiency snowmaking.
Great. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
We just
I-
spent a lot of money.
Would love a motion to adjourn. That's like unbelievable. So move.
Second
Really on the board there.
There we go. That concludes the business of today's board meeting. Are there any items off the board agenda for us? I think we all have a exciting meeting soon down the road in Saranac Lake. So one more motion to adjourn. Made by Steve, second. Billy, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, new board members. You made it through your first meeting.
And you usually don't have that much reading to do.
That's what you said to me last time.
Sorry.